Good morning, Tursap Radio. Aaron Walls with the Gambling Roots. Your industry, your station. All right, good morning. Welcome to the Gambling Roots. Let's talk about some baseball, then we'll walk into football, and then we might even talk about some scary movies. Okay, the first game of the day was, baseball. I turn this down, scaring the piss out of me. That's right, Aaron Walls with the Gambling Roots. Okay, so I don't know if you guys are watching baseball right now. It's fucking badass. All right, so let's see. The Guardians. I don't know if you guys watched that game yesterday. If you did, you are probably inside of your office. Paying attention to nothing if you were watching sport. Okay, all right. So when I came home, let the dogs out, ate lunch. Maybe the playoffs were on. Maybe I watched the Indians. Dang it, I keep calling the Indians. Take down the Tigers. So, game 3, it's best of 3 in the wild card series. I don't know if you're aware of that. I didn't gamble on this one because I wasn't quite sure. But it was cool because they had this young kid come out there. His first ever major league game. They put him in center field. And they kept showing him and his parents. And it was cool. And he got a fly ball hit to him. And he fucking dropped it. And it showed his parents. They're like, ah. But he was talking about how he's never played in a stadium this big. And it's got 3 rows up top. You know, minor league's got 2. But when you got that third row, that ball's traveling up in the air. And a lot of the faces are white. And let's see, there's other like t-shirts and shit are white. So when the ball's going up and you got to come forward to track the ball, he said he hasn't been able to do that yet. So I'm sure it was quite challenging. Plus the wind. So it came down. He tracked it well, but it came down and busted him right in the palm. Bounced right out. Worst place you want the ball to hit you. You can catch it there. You can catch it there. And then when he went up to the plate, he got walked, and his mom and dad was like, "Oh man, strike! Oh man," he fouled it off. It was cool to see. Anyway, he got on base his first time. He got walked, And then the crowd went nuts the very next inning. When a fly ball was hit to him again, he tracked it down. Great. Caught it. Routine fly ball. Nerves were gone. They didn't yank him. So he stayed in. Let's see what his name was. Because I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's see. It is DeLauder. I think it's DeLauder. So if you watch him play again, check it out. It's a young kid. He looks nervous as hell. I'm going to bet on him to get a hit. One hit. I'm going to bet on him to get one hit. And then last night, the Yankees pulled out a showstopper. That's a fucking nail biter right there. Yankees and Red Sox. That's a hard one to pick because you never really know who's going to win. All right. My brother is a huge Yankees fan. He lives on the edge with the Yankees. Let's see what is it. All right, sorry. Also, I lost. I bet the Yankees would win by 2. They only won by 1. My wife, she bet on the Red Sox. I don't think she bet on plus or minus, just the money line. I bet on the Reds to take down the Dodgers, but I couldn't stay up that late. I was struggling to stay up for the Yankees and Red Sox, but it was a tight game. So let's go back to. I got another one coming up. No. Let's see. See if you guys recognize some of these. Here we go. We'll keep the scary music going. Kind of freak you guys out while we're gambling. You're waking up with Aaron Walls and the gambling roots. We'll switch over to the landscaper roots after we get through all our gambling. We got Thursday night football coming up. Let's see what they're offering us here on DraftKings. As soon as they let me in, and it's a slow ass login. It takes forever to log into this thing. I don't know if you guys are gambling on baseball or watching the playoffs, but it is awesome. Also, NASCAR's got playoffs going, so I've had good luck with gambling on NASCAR as well. Turn that off. Sorry. Okay, so who do we got tonight? We got the Niners at the Rams. It starts in 13 hours and 6 minutes and 37 seconds. What are they offering? Kyron Williams, anytime TD score. That'd be a good one to take. Puka Nakua. Let's see. I wouldn't take anytime touchdowns on either side because both have really good defenses. So I would take the under on the 44.5 points. I do not see this being a high scoring game. Maybe a 17-24 win is what I'm looking at. That's what I'm thinking. That's my guess. So I would build my own parlay. Christian McCaffrey's going to be in it. So let's go through rush yards. How much are they giving him? 56 is his average. So I'm not going to give him 70 yards. I'm going to give him 50 plus. That's going to be my first. All right. Then we're going to go with Kyron Williams. His average is 75. So I'm going to give him 60. Brian Johnson, Mac Jones, no. All right, now let's go to receiving yards. Let's build some. Let's do the parlay on this. Puka Nakua, he's averaging 125 yards a game. Jeez, dude. So I'm gonna give him a 90, and then Devontae Adams, we'll give him a 60. So Let's go into the Thursday night. Let's see here. Opt in. Here we go. We're getting a ghost leg on this. All right, so we're good to go. Bet slip. So we're gonna bet $3 on this, or $5. We'll bet $5 on this. It's a safe parlay. We'll see if it hits. Brian, I don't know if you're out there listening, but if you are, that would be a good parlay. I don't know if you're getting into any parlays or just wins and losses, but I don't think there's any money on this win or loss. Here we go. Tales from the Crypt. I don't know if you guys remember that. We'll play some of theirs. It is spooky season. There we go. Back to the spooky stuff. And then back to gambling. Let's pull back up the Niners-Rams game. So, let's see. It's got... Okay, there is money on this. It's got the Niners losing to the Rams at 8.5. Here we go. I'm going to take that. As long as the Niners don't lose by that many, I'm going to take that. No. None of that. All right, so. I'm taking the Niners. Here we go. I'm taking the Niners on the road in LA. You heard it here. Let's see if there's an upset. Even though it's an away game, it's also in LA. So the 49ers travel well with their fans. So expect a lot of 60-40 there on the crowd noise. So I would say 60's the Rams and probably 40% the Niners. So I wouldn't expect too much of a home field advantage. Maybe even heavier on the Niner side. We'll see. I've been wrong before, but the Niners are a huge favorite in California. Anyway, don't pee the bed. I'm going to listen to a little bit of the scary music, and we'll come back and talk some more gambling. Don't go too far. Here we go, keeping the scary theme going. It's October. Also, Spotify's throwing in a badass commercial in there. Not sure what it is or what they're selling, but I ain't gonna buy it or listen to it or force you to listen to it. Just keeping the scary stuff going. Tonight we have college football, a nobody game. Sam Houston at New Mexico State. If you want to gamble on it, it is favored in Sam Houston by 2.5. So, not a lot to win or lose on here. I'm not familiar with Sam Houston or New Mexico State's roster at all. Brian Hayes, good morning, brother. We are talking about the gambling roots right now. Landscaper Roots is about to join you. Let's see here. I think that's all the gambling we can do today. Let's pull up the MLB, Major League Baseball. Let's see what games we got today. We got the Tigers at the Guardians. You got the Padres at the Cubs, Red Sox at the Yankees. So I'm going to bet on the Guardians. I am. I'm going to bet on the Guardians right now. $5. Guardians. Bam. Taking it. Money line. Also, Padres and Cubs. I'm not gambling on that, but I have a high suggestion on the Padres. Also, the Red Sox at the Yankees. I think the Yankees got them, so I'm taking the Yankees at 5. I'm gonna put 5 on it. Come on, Yanks. You got to do it. You can do it. So that's my gambling for baseball. Also, if you are going to watch the Guardians play today, pay attention to that young kid out in center field. They brought him up from the minors. It's not very often when people get to start their very first major league game that it's during the playoffs. So his debut was yesterday. Keep an eye on him. They don't bring people up like that for nothing. Baseball is one of the highest paid sports out there. They make more money than Fort Knox. All right, so that's probably it for the gambling roots. Yeah. That's it for gambling this morning. We will talk about some more gambling games tomorrow. So don't pee the bed. I got some scary music out here in the background. I'm not sure which movie this is from. Someone painted a picture back in the 80s. I was born in the 1983s. Even though there was only one 1983, what does it say? It's the 1983s. Me and my brother was raised by my dad, so we stayed in this little apartment. So it was dad, his girlfriend, and 2 boys. So he did the best he could, and Freddie had just came out. So I know I was not in kindergarten yet. I know I wasn't. But as far as my earliest memories goes, that's my first house of my earliest memories. So as a kid, that's where I was. And Freddie came out. And I remember Dad would watch it with us. And he ended up buying it because then he'd scare the shit out of us with it. So he'd say, all right, boys, go to bed. And he'd turn the lights off. Me and my brother, we slept in the same bed. And then Freddy Krueger used to always go, Tina, like that. And then, so it'd be all quiet through that apartment. And then you'd hear Dad go, Tina. And my brother would scream at my dad. He's like, shut the fuck up. I'm pretty sure that's the words he used. And he was in kindergarten, maybe. I know I wasn't in kindergarten yet, but I remember him yelling that at my dad. And then Dad would do it again and laugh. So fear was it was a joke, I guess. At the time, it was terrifying, but it was fun. It was, I remember it now, and it was funny. So we're talking about a time period in horror movies that really shaped pop culture. The era of Freddy and Jason, Tales from the Crypt, Puppet Master, Shining. This is a time when scary movies was just about gore and jump scares. I thought it was cool. I still enjoy them. My wife hates them, so we don't watch them. My daughter's into them. She thinks they're cool. So she wants to go to some haunted houses. I told her to go. Waverly Hills was the scariest one I've ever been to, but that was like 20 years ago. I don't know if they still do it. So there's a few of them up here in Evansville, and then Newburgh has a haunted farm. I think they're all ran by kids, though. They are pretty cool. I think it's neat. But where's it come from? I don't know where it's derived, where its gestational period is, where it's genesis, where it began. But they were an event. You'd rent them from Blockbuster or your local movie store, and then sneak a watch when your parents weren't looking, if you weren't allowed to watch them. Or gather your buddies around and check them out when they first came out. Or go to the movies. Remember going to the movies? So I thought this era was kind of cool. What made them stick? And they're still talked about decades and decades later. Especially, let's see. Here we go. Happy Felon Day. That's awesome. Like the Happy Daughter's Day and Son's Day. Yeah, I don't do them. For one, I don't. It's never on my actual calendar. So, I think in 3 months they'll switch it up again. I don't know where they come from, but they are funny. So let's talk about the atmosphere of the 70s. Through the 90s, scary movie shit, the horror boom. Let's see if we got one. Let's see if we got a song. Let's see here. I think you guys know this one. This one's cool. Uh-oh. There we go. Here's a good one. I couldn't even take a bath because of this fucking song. Get in the bath. No. Aaron, go take a bath. Ain't doing it. Aaron, go take a bath. Nope. Ain't getting in there. Couldn't see the bottom. Even though I had a shark and a boat in there. Oh, here he comes. He's going to get you. Ah. Let's see here. Okay, so horror was riding off the 70s, like Halloween. So I thought Halloween was cool. I really enjoyed it. And Friday the 13th, the 80s and 90s were the VHS. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember renting movies. But I drive by the place where I used to rent movies. And so we lived in this apartment down in the middle of Candleton. And me, Dad, Nick, his name's Dominic, but his name's Nick. I call him Nick. I've always called him Nick. We would, on the weekends, we had a Nintendo. So we would walk from our apartment all the way up to this video store on the main street in Candleton. And inside this video store, they had, or I think it was a video store. The case was no bigger than a 3x5, and it had a few Nintendo games in there. And I would always want the Karate Kid one, and then you could get a Freddy one. So we'd rent that or Excite Bike. And then Dad would rent a movie, and it was usually a scary movie. But we'd all sit around and watch it. So we'd watch a scary movie, and then when it was over, he'd scare the shit out of us and scare us through all the house, and then we'd play Nintendo. And that was that's my memories. We're riding bikes down there, but we usually didn't ride our bikes all the way up through Cannleton. Not that Cannleton was an extremely busy city, but back then it was way more busy than it is now. I think most of the children that were my age then have since moved on and moved away. But I remember scary movies being a part of it. Always being a part of it. So the 80s and 90s were VHS rentals made horror accessible in your living room. Cable TV gave us late night fright shows like Tales from the Crypt. I don't know if you guys ever watched Tales from the Crypt, but I thought it was badass. We watched it as well. People really wanted that adrenaline rush, the mix of fear and fun, right? Or I thought they did. I don't know. Maybe they didn't. I don't know if you guys have ever. And Puppet Masters was our favorite. We loved Puppet Masters. I don't know that this was good for a kid's brain, but these little puppets, like one had a tiny head, but he was supposed to be real muscular. And the master, like the puppet master, was a very old man, and he'd put all these puppets in a toy chest, and he took care of them. And then actually, these puppets would come to life, and they would kill people. And one of them was a skeleton type thing, and he had razors on his hands, and he'd kill people with knives. And then one of them was a monster, or not a monster. Like he had a really, really tiny head, but he had really big muscles. He wore a sweater, and he was supposed to be real strong. I'm gonna look the other ones up. Let me see if I can find the other Puppet Masters. Puppet Master puppets. Let's see. Puppets. If I can type this in fast enough. Okay, so yes, one of them had a spin top head. One of them was a Joker. Oh my gosh, here they are. Yeah. So one was a cowboy. One was an electric chair. Um, one had an army helmet on, so he was like a war guy. Yeah. But my favorite. Okay, Corey, good. Okay, Corey brought it. Corey lived in a Christian home. They wanted to watch Hellraiser. I forgot all about Hellraiser. He hasn't been right since. So these scary movies were wild, man, and kids watched them. So Corey, I think you're a little bit older than me, maybe. I'm 42, so you would be. You were probably riding bike age on your own. So I could see where Hellraiser. What was the other one? So there was Hellraiser. These are all off memory. I'm trying to remember all this shit from the 80s. And I smoked a lot of things out of pipes and it ruined my memory. So Poltergeist. Oh my gosh. That was it. I almost peed right now thinking about Poltergeist because that one was super scary. So he's 45. He's only a couple years, about the same age. All right, so let's bring this one in. Here we go. So imagine being a kid trying to fucking go to sleep after watching this. I would pee the bed twice at night. I'd even be awake and be like, I ain't getting up. Not doing it. Not getting up. Being right here. And then I get beat up by my brother. Did you pee in bed? Yeah, I'm getting ready to do it again because I'm scared to death. Go turn the light on. You turn it on. Nope. I'm doing it. I'm going to pee on both of us again. There we go. Scary movies. Poltergeist. I think that one kid died, though, didn't she? All right, so I don't know if you guys have seen Puppet Master. Here's another one. Let's see. Children of the Corn. I don't know how to spell children. Here we go. Children of the Corn. A physician, Bert Stanton Peter Horton, and his girlfriend, Vicky, drive across the Midwest to his new job. Their trip comes to a sudden halt when they encounter the body of a murdered boy in the road. And trying to contact the authorities, Bert and Vicky wander into a small town populated only by children. Followers of sinister young preacher Isaac Croner, John Franklin. Soon the couple is fleeing the youthful fanatics who want to sacrifice them to their demonic deity. So she was in a lot of the films back then, but Children of the Corn had like 19 films, and they were scary as hell. And then my mom and stepdad lived out in the country, and we watched that one a lot. So when this is when the whole group together, because my mom had 7 kids, we would all walk like from my mom's and, around the loop. There was a gravel road out there, and corn was up, and we was like, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? And I just remember all of us, even Molly and Gina. They were the youngest. So, yeah, we'd ride our bikes and shit through there, and it was a different time back then. All right, what's another one? What is some more? Let's see if we can find some more. These Puppet Master became a cult classic because it was weird and creepy and different. Killer puppets weren't just scary. They were oddly fascinating. I loved them. Even though I knew they were going to fucking kill somebody. And at a young age, I'm like, oh man, why am I watching this? This is so interesting. But then they would kill somebody. How's your favorite animal? You couldn't go into Walmart and buy one of these puppets, and, you could buy Alf, or you could buy the Muppet Babies or whatever they were, but you couldn't buy these guys. So if you haven't found, look it up, Puppet Master. Oh, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Dude, I've got to look this up. I remember this. I watched that. We watched it. I feel like we spent a lot of time in front of the TV with Dad and Shannon watching scary ass killer toy, killer puppet movie, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, 1988. Oh my gosh. All right, so when teenagers, Mike and Debbie, see a comet crash outside their sleepy small town, they investigate and discover a pack of murderous aliens who look very much like circus clowns. They try to warn the local authorities, but everyone assumes their story is a prank. Meanwhile, the clowns set about harvesting and eating as many people as they can. It's not until they kidnap Debbie that Mike decides it's up to him to stop the clown's bloody rampage. I remember this one. What about Leprechaun? Did you guys watch Leprechaun? Was scary as fuck. All right, so, and Jennifer Aniston was in this one, I'm pretty sure. Okay, all right, Dan O'Grady steals 100 gold coins from a leprechaun. While on vacation in Ireland, the leprechaun follows him home, but Dan locks the murderous midget in a crate. Held at bay by a 4-leaf clover. 10 years later, J.D. Redding and his daughter Jennifer Aniston rent O'Grady's property for the summer. When their new neighbors accidentally release the leprechaun, he goes on a murderous rampage to reclaim the gold. She was super young then. I don't even think she was an adult then. I don't know. She might be in her 60s now, so maybe she was an adult. Anyway, here's some scary music. I'll be right back. Drink some coffee. Don't pee your pants. All right, so if you watched these as a kid with your parents, you lived a great fucking life. All right, I'm telling you right now, they probably smoked a few things in the back and then came in and watched them with you. Maybe not. Maybe drank a few beers. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know if Wayne's, you watch these with your kids. I don't think yours were old enough, though. Yours might not have been old enough. Kyle might have been. I think Kyle's close to my age. He's close. He's still kind of young. All right, so we walked away from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Watched it. Leprechaun. Watched it. Let's see, what else? Let's see. What's the... So horror thrived in this area. What they just needed a crazy idea and a VHS cover that made people grab it off the shelf. So we didn't really pick them. Chucky was another fucking spooky one. You could buy a Chucky doll. You could have one in your room. A good guy doll. You could have a good guy doll. I had one. I had a good guy doll. Had it. Scared the hell out of me. These films built fan bases. I guess because they didn't have all the social media or whatever. It's just they had like a spooky cover, and it's like, oh, this one's probably gory, or this one's probably scary. This one make be the bed. So they were just experimental, I guess, and then they landed. They stuck. Poltergeist. I'll never forget that cover. Poltergeist. What's another one? Back then that was probably not meant to be so scary, but freaked me out was Alien. I think that was good. Cover that. All right, so Tales from the Crypt. I don't know if you guys watched that. That was on, I think that was every Friday night. I think it was. Or Saturday night. I don't know. It was on the weekends, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's through the week. But it was weekly. And it had that little skeleton on there. Let's see if we can pull him up. I don't know if you guys remember Tales from the Crypt. Here it is. They pulled it up. What is it? It's based on a comic series. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what Brian say. Let's see. Thanks for the ride, lady. Hitchhiker. Remember Hitchhiker? Let's see. Yes. HBO on Saturday. So Brian's right. HBO on Saturdays. Based on the, let's see, Tales from the Crypt. Let's see what it says. Rotten Tomatoes gave it. This is from the internet. I'm just pulling it up. All right, so this campy and stylized anthology series recounts a string of horrific yarns introduced by the show's moldering host, the Crypt Keeper. So that was the skeleton. Episodes featuring a number of well-known actors and actresses, including Dan Aykroyd, Christopher Reeve, Michael J. Fox, Tom Hanks. Let's see. Doesn't really say. It had 7 seasons, so it started in '89. I know we started watching it in '89. So 1996. I know I probably watched it all the way into '96 because I was probably interested in some type of nudity by then. Huh? Probably shouldn't have said that. Thinking out loud here. Let's see if I can edit that out. Too late. You already heard it. You heard it here. Let's see here. Tales from the Crypt. Let's see. The Hitchhiker. Let's see if it pulls it up. Hitchhiker. I don't know if you guys watched that. That was usually the Hitchhiker is someone who No. There we go. The dude with the backpack. Let's see here. See if it pulls up what it was. I remember watching this all the time. We would go to Doug's house, Bugsy and Trish. We'd go there, and that's what would be on. I'd bring a toy with me, and I'd have to watch that because it was on Fridays and Saturdays. But the music scared the piss out of me, so I think it was scary. Let's see here. Let's pull up another one. Let's see what else we got. Got some more scary music in the background. You're listening to Aaron Walls on the Gambling Roots this morning. Let's see here. Crypt Keeper. Man, I think he was on MTV too. I think sometimes they showed him on MTV. Like Celebrity Deathmatch and shit. I think he was a celebrity guest sometimes. Anyway, it proved that horror wasn't just for movie theaters. You could watch it weekly. Let's talk about Freddy and Jason. Let's see. Freddy, A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. I was born in the 83s, remember? Brought something new. A villain who could kill you in your fucking sleep. He wasn't silent. He had a personality, one-liners, and a twisted sense of humor. All right, so let's Freddy. Dang it. No, I don't care about his frozen kitchen. Freddy, the movie. Here we go. Freddy movies. Pull this up. This is all off the cuff here, guys. All right, so he's got, he had one in 1984. Turned out to be a hit. Sorry, just cleared my throat on air. I know that's a big no-no. Then it was 1985. Must have been another hit, so they came out with another one in 87, 88, 89, 91, 94. They banged them out right away. So in 84, they must have had a banger. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they had 7 of them. How many were there total? There was 9 total. So the 7 first ones were pretty good. Man, when from the first to the 94, Lost Boys. Okay. Cujo. Oh my God, the scary dog. The dog that dies. Pet Cemetery. Little Shop of Horror. These are good ones, Corey. Let's stay on Freddy for a second. We'll walk out of this and look, guys, don't piss the bed tonight. All right, don't relive any of that. See, let's pull up the first one. Oh my gosh, just looking at this reminds me of not sleeping at all in the 80s because my dad would scare the shit out of us. At any point and given time. Hey, this dude even got a fucking mask. He even went and got a Freddy mask. And he would, and a glove. My brother had a glove with the knives and shit on it. So, and he would come running in our bedroom. We were like 3, 4, and 5, and it was like, get the fuck away from me. I mean, we watched that stuff, so we spoke like him. All right, so in Wes Craven's classic slasher film, several Midwestern teenagers fall prey to Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund, a disfigured midnight mangler who preys on the teenagers in their dreams, which in turn kills them in reality. After investigation, the phenomenon, Nancy begins to suspect that a dark secret kept by her and her friends' parents may be the key to unraveling the mystery. But can Nancy and her boyfriend Glenn, Johnny Depp, solve the puzzle before it's too late? All right, let me get some coffee in here, and then I'll come back and scare the hell out of you. All right, I'm back. My fucking throat is burning from forcing that coffee down. All right, so we're gonna talk about the Poltergeist real quick because there's some cool stuff. All right, we're gonna talk about the movie. We're gonna talk about the movie. All right. It's a strange and creepy happenings in average California family, right? Oh, nothing's happening. We're about to die. The Freelings, teenage Dana, 8-year-old Robbie, and 5-year-old Carol, when ghosts commune with them through the television set. That's about when everybody started getting TVs back then, right? I mean, people had them, but it wasn't like a must. Like, people must have them now. It's just, it comes with the fucking house now. So, initially friendly and playful, the ghosts, the spirits, turn unexpectedly menacing. And when Carol Ann goes missing, Steve and Diane turn to a parapsychologist and eventually an exorcist for help. So, what? We gotta Google a parapsychologist. Let's see if I can fucking CPS. No, I spelled it wrong. PSY. Parapsychology. Parapsychology is the study of alleged psychic and paranormal phenomena, such as telepathy, clairvoyance, and telekinesis, which cannot be explained by conventional scientific laws. The field uses scientific methods to investigate these phenomena, which are broadly categorized into extrasensory perception, ESP, and mind-matter interaction, or psychokinesis. While its origins are the study of psychic phenomena in the 19th century, it is largely considered a pseudoscience, fake, by mainstream scientists today due to lack of consistent, replicable evidence. All right, so let's go back to exorcism. What is it? Exorcism is a religious or spiritual ritual practiced across many cultures to expel evil spirits, demons, or malevolent entities from a possessed person or place. While often portrayed in movies with graphic imagery, real exorcisms involve prayers, sacred objects like crosses, holy water, and authoritative commands to the spirit to depart. The practice is most formalized in Christianity, particularly in the Catholic tradition, but also exists in Islam, Hinduism, and other belief systems with methods and interpretations varying significantly by faith and culture. So these exorcism or The Exorcist, they made a movie, or Poltergeist. Poltergeist was made because people were actually doing this, and then they dramatized it and turned it into a scary ass movie. And it worked. All right, so let's see if we can get the other movies in here. What made them popular was the formula: teens, bad decisions, creative kill scene. People weren't just watching for the story, they were watching for how crazy the kills could get. It was. That's how I watched it for that. Sorry. Cleared my throat again. Won't do that again. That was a lie. I'll probably do it 6 more times. By the late 80s, Freddy and Jason were pop culture stars. They had toys, Halloween costumes, MTV appearances. All right, The Shining. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining in 1980. It stood apart because it wasn't just gore. It was psycho. The slow descent into madness, the imagination, Jack Nicholson's iconic performance burned into history. Here's Johnny. I'm sure everybody knows that line. Here's Johnny. Became more than a line. It became a piece of American pop culture. Man, he does play a good, crazy actor. Because he was the Joker, too. Let's see. Teens in cabins, babysitters, families in hotels, everyday people in extraordinary horror situations. Practical efforts. Before CGI, makeup artists and special effects crews built monsters by hand, which made them feel real. So the computer does it now and makes it look more realistic. Back then, they had to do it with makeup. I think let's see how long it took. Let's see, Freddy's makeup artist. Makeup. Makeup time. Let's see how long it took him to put his makeup on. The original Freddy Krueger makeup application for actor Robert Englund took about 3.5 to 4 hours to complete all that. That is insane. She could become a morning. All right, so I don't think we're gonna get through the rest. It is Thursday. I got the hot dog cart going out. I gotta run to the bakery and pick up fresh chili and fresh onions, and that's where I'm headed now. So, hey guys, go out and kick ass today. Go out and make money. Go out and do your thing. Enjoy your day. If I scared the piss out of you with this Halloween stuff and scary movie stuff, hopefully I brought up some good memories when you were a kid and what it was like back in the 80s. If not, and it ruined your day, that was not my intention. I appreciate all the support. You guys listening in. Stay tuned tomorrow. I'll tell you how the hot dog cart went as far as today, but we are going to get fresh goods. I am out. Thanks for
Oh my
listening.
God.
Can't have my show without you guys. You guys are wonderful. Stay tuned. You got Eric Jones and Jennifer Jones. Not sure what they'll be talking about, but I'm sure it's good. After that, you got Daniel Voles with some good facts, staying healthy. Got Darren coming up. Lots of good stuff. So stay tuned to Aaron Walls and the Gambling Roots. I'm out.